Alright, 213 track safety structures, track safety, subpart D track structures, 213-101 scope. The subpart prescribes the minimum requirements of ballast cross ties tracks of assembly fitting with the physical condition of the rail. 213-103 ballast generally, unless otherwise structurally supported, the track shall be supported materially, which will transmit distributed load over the track railroad rolling equipment to the subgrade, restricting the track laterally, longitude, vertically under the dynamic loads imposed by the railroad rolling equipment. Thermal stress exerted by the rails providing adequate drainage for the track and maintain proper trackage cost level and alignment. 213-109 cross ties. Cross ties shall be made with a material which of the rail can be securely fastened. Each of the 39-foot segment of the track shall be at the minimum. A sufficient number for the cross ties combination provided effective support that will the gauge within the limits prescribed in 213-53B with maintain the surface of the limit is prescribed in 213-63. Maintain alignment within the limits prescribed in 213-55. The minimum number and type of the cross ties specified in paragraph B4 and with the section described in paragraph C and D with the applicable with the section available to effectively distributed with the support within the entire segment. At least one of the non-defective cross ties tip of the type specified in paragraph C and D with the section is located with the joint location specified in paragraph E with the section for the minimum number of the cross ties indicated with the following table. Class 1, 5 tangent curve for tangent turnouts and curves. Tangent curve track less than equal to 2 degrees and greater than 2 degrees on the second notation. Class 1, 5 and 6. Class 2, 8 and 9. Class 3, 8 and 10. Class 4, 12 and 14. Cross ties other than the concrete counter with to satisfy the requirements set for the paragraph B4. The section shall not be broken through, but split otherwise impaired with the extent with the cross tie will allow the ballast to work through and all will not hold the spike the rail fastener sealed deteriorate with the cross tie of the base rail can move laterally 1/2 inch relatively to the cross tie. Cut the cross tie plate but cut by the cross tie plate with no more than 40% of the cross tie thickness. Our D-concrete crossroads count and satisfied with the requirements set forth in paragraph B4 of the section shall not be broken through the deteriorated extent with the pre-stressing material. The visible deterioration broken off of the vicinity with the shoulder insert with the fastener with the assembled can either pull out over the move laterally more than 3/8 of an inch relatively to the cross tie. 3. Deteriorate such the base of either the rail can be moved laterally more than 3/8 of an inch relative to the cross tie curves of 2 degrees or greater, or can move laterally more than 1/2 inch relative to the cross tie on the tangent track of the curves less than 2 degrees. 4. Deteriorated or abraded by any point under the rail seat with a depth of 1/2 inch or more. 5. Deteriorate surface of the cross tie fastening anchor if they include the rail anchors 213-127 that is unable to maintain longitudinal rail with restraint with a maintained rail hold down, maintain gauge down due to the insufficient fastener toe load. Configured the less than 2 fasteners on the same rail except as provided in 213-127. Class 1 and 2 tracks shall have one cross tie within one center line within 24 inches of each of the rail end with the location 3 and 4 and 5 tracks shall either within one cross tie with the center line within 18 inches of each of the rail joint. Location 2 cross ties center lines are within 24 inches either side with each of the rail joint location. The relative position of the cross tie is described in the following 3 diagrams. Each railroad joint class for the class 1 and 2 shall be supported at least one cross tie specified in paragraph C and D with a section whose center is within 48 inches as shown in figure 1. Alright, class 1 and 2 show the 24 inches rail joint from the center of 48 and each railroad joint 3 and 4 with the track shall be boarded either at least one cross tie specified in paragraph B, C, and D with the section whose center line is 36 inches shown in figure 2. Alright, this shows the class 3 and 4 18 inches from the center line of the rail joint and on both sides and 36 inches. The 2 cross ties on each side of the rail joint whose center are within 24 inches of the rail joint location shown in figure 3. Class 3 show 3 and 5 with 24 inches from the center rail joint, 48 inches. Alright, for tracks constructed without cross-tie slab track connected directly with the bridge structure component of the track over the servicing pad, etc. with the truck structure shall meet with the requirements of paragraph B1 of the section gauge resistant measurement. A track owner elected to implement the gauge resistant measurement or GRMS supplement with a portable track loading fixture or PTLF. Determine the compliance with the cross-tie form fastener requirement specified in 213-109, 213-127, provided the track owner notify the appropriate FRO regional office at least 30 days prior to the designation of any line segment of the gauge resistant measurement system technology with implemented with the track owner for notify the appropriate FRO regional office at least 10 days prior to the removal of any line segment of the gauge resistant measurement system designation, including initial notification of the paragraph in A1 of the section, included the identification of the line segment in the table by timetable of the destination milepost class of the track, other identifying criteria, the most recent record of the million gross ton of the traffic per year over the identified segments. C1, the track owner shall also provide the operator sufficient with the technical data to establish compliance with the following minimum of the design for the gauge resistant measurement system vehicle. The gauge resistance shall be measured between the head of the rails and intervals not exceeding 16 inches under the applied vertical load with no less than 10 KIPs per rail. Under the applied lateral load, provide with lateral vertical load value ratio of the 1.5 tenths to 1.25. At a load severity greater than 3 kips or less than 8 kips per rail. Load severity is defined as the S, or load severity defined in lateral load applied with the fastener system, equal to lateral actual load applied with the key IPs times C, coefficient of the friction between the rail tie, which is assigned with the nominal value, and the actual vertical load applied with the kips of the over or static vertical wheel load. Vertical load is not measured. Or the measured gauge values shall also be converted in projected load gauge, or 24 projected load gauge 24 as follows. Projected load gauge 24 is equal to unloaded track gauge measured by the gauge resistant measurement system at the vehicle no less than 10 feet from any lateral vertical application. The lateral load track gauge measurement measured by the gauge resistant measurement system vehicle no more than 12 inches from the lateral load applicant, and A, the extra polation factor of the cover of the measured load gauge except for the load gauge under the 24 kip lateral, 33 kip vertical load. For all tracks, A, the exploration factor converted with the measured load gauge except for the load gauge in 24 kips and later in the 33 quarter kips equals actual lateral load applied, or equals 3.513 over actual lateral load applied times 0.25 times V, or actual vertical load applied with the static vertical load of the wheel load times 0.09 ln times 0.025. No GP and GWP. Actual gauge resistant measurement system vehicle capable of producing output reports, producing, tracing constant distance scale with all the parameters specified in paragraph 1 of the section. The gauge resistant measurement system vertical vehicle shall capable of providing with an exposition report with contained systematic testing of all the exemptions connected to the location, all the parameters specified in paragraph 1. The inspections required for this section shall be provided with the appropriate person designated with the full qualified in 213 of the project. The next inspection required in 233. Track owner shall institute the necessary problems to maintain the integrity of the data collected with the gauge resistant measurement system portable track load facility feature at the minimum of the track ownership to maintain the make it available to the Federal Road Administration document the calibration procedure for the gauge resistant measurement system vehicle with the minimum shall specified with the daily instrument vertical the procedure for the ensure correlation between the measurement made on the ground and those recorded with the instrument with respect to load unloading gauge parameters. To the maintaining of each of the portable track loading fixtures. Maintain each of the portable track loading fixture with the determination compliant with the requirements of the section, such as the 4,000 pound reading with accurate within 5% of the reading. The track owner with the training gauge resistant measurement system from the technology person designated with a fully qualified in 213.7 with whose territory of the subject requirements for this section training with the program shall be made available to the Federal Administration. Pound requires that a minimum training program is for the gauge resistant measurement system procedure with an interpretation and handling exemption reports generated the gauge resistant measurement system. 3. Location verifying the defects in field. 4. Remedial actions. Use of the calibration portable track loading fixture and record keeping requirements for the gauge resistant measurement system. Record the lateral restraint shall identify 2 exemption level. The minimum of the track owner shall initiate the required remedial action with except the level that is defined in the following table. Alright, this shows the first level inspection, second level inspection. Between the gauge resistant measurement system and the inspection of the portable track loading fixture may be used an additional analytical tool as for the fully qualified individuals to determine the compliance with the cross-tie fastening requirement 213, 109, 213, 127, the portable tracks load and fixture for the issue with the additional analytical tools to fulfill with the requirements of paragraph 1. It shall be the subject of the following criteria and location along with the track of the portable track loading fixture that may applicable applied with the location deemed in compliance with the cross-type fastener requirements specified in 213, 109, 213, 127, provided the total gauge widening that the location does not exceed 5/8 of an inch when used, when increasing complied with the force of 0 to 4,000 pounds. The gauge for the track under 4,000 pounds applied with the force does not exceed the allowable gauge prescribed in 213.53b with the class truck. Gauge widening says widening in excess of 5/8 of an inch shall count as the deviation 1 class 1 standards. Person designated full qualified under the statute 213.7 that retains discretion authority to prescribe additional remedial action for the location that will comply with the requirements of paragraph M11 and 2 of this section. Alright, one functional portable track loading fixture is not available to fully qualified person designated 213.7. The criteria to determine the cross tie and fastener compliance shall be based solely on the requirements specified in 213, 109, and 127. The portable track loading fixture become the non-functional with the missing track owner will place the repair on the before the next inspection required with the 213, 233. When the vertical loading of the track is necessary to confer the contact of the lateral rail or restraint component with the portable track loading fixture will not be considered a valid update with the contact with the components restored under the stack loading conditions. The track owner shall maintain a record of the two most gauge resistant measurement system, including inspection location with a meter for the requirements specified in 213.241b. At the minimum, the record shall indicate the following: location, nature of each of the first level of inspection, nature of the date of the remedial action, if any, with the exemption identified with the paragraph N1 of the section. The inspection interval with the designated with the gauge resistant measurement system line segment must be such that on the line segment, when the annual tons exceed 2 million gross tons of the maximum operating speed of the passenger train exceeding 30 miles an hour, gauge resistant measurement system inspection must be performed annually at an interval but not exceeding 14 months. Only the line segment of the annual tonnage of the 2 million gross tons or less maximum operating speed of the trains does not exceed 30 miles an hour. Interval between the gauge resistant measurement system inspections must not be exceeded 24 months. Used within the section 1, the gauge resistant measurement system GRMS means the track loading fixture with the meeting of the minimum design requirements specified in the section. Gauge widening program or GWP, gauge widening projection GWP, measure the wide gauge measured gauge widening when the difference between the load of the unloading gauge and applied with the load is protected with the reference of the N16 kips of the lateral force of 33 kips of the vertical. The LV, the ratio, means the number of the lateral load applied with the point of the rail, the vertical load applied with the same point of the gauge resistant measurement design, specifically with the LV ratio between 0.5 and 1.25. Load severity means the amount of the lateral load applied with the fastener system above after the friction with between the rail and tie with overcome by then applied with gauge widening lateral load. Load track gauge or LTG means the gauge measure with the gauge resistant measurement system vehicle at not more than 12 inches from the lateral load application point. 6. Portable track loading fixture or PTLF means the portable track loading device combined capable of being applicable increasing lateral force from 0 to 4,000 pounds with the web-based failure of each of the rails simultaneously. Projected load gauge or PLG with the expirated value of the load gauge. Calculate with the actual measure load defection of the portable load gauge. 224 means the expirated value of the load gauge under 24,000 pounds lateral load and 33,000 pounds vertical load. Unloaded track gauge. UTG, the gauge dimension for the gauge resistant measurement vehicle measurement system of the vehicle at the point no less than 10 feet from any lateral vertical load. Alright, 213, 113, defective rails. When any of the owner track loadings of the rail with the train contained with any of the defect listed with the table contained with the paragraph C with the section person designated 213.7 shall determine whether the track may be continued with if the designated person determines if the track may be continued in use for the operation over the deficiency rail may not be operation permitted until when the rail is replaced or repaired. The remedial action prescribed in the table of condition with the paragraph C is initiated when the owner of the track learns that the rail with the track contained with an indicator that any of the defects listed in the table containing paragraph C with the section track owner shall verify the indication of the track owner must verify the indication of the 4 hours unless the track owner has an indication of the existing of the defect that requires remedial action A, A2, and B of the identified with the table containing the paragraph C of the section, in which case track owner must implement the verifying identification with the indication verified with the track owner. One, replace and repair the rail and issue the remedial action prescribed in the table of contingent and in paragraph C of the section C. A track owner with the learning of the rail contains one of the following defects should be prescribed remedial action specified the rail not placed in the repair in accordance with the paragraph table. defects, compound fissure transverse fissure, detail fracture, engine burn, fracture defective weld, horizontal split, vertical split head, split weld, pipe weld, head web, separation, defective weld, sub bolt hole crack, broken base, ordinary brake damage, and flattened head and crushed rail. Length of defect in inches, percentage of existing railway head crossing section area caused by more than, but not more than, less than, but not more than, defective rails replaced, repaired ends, remedial action prescribed in notes. Alright, notes. Assigned person with designated within 213 some of the vigilance such and supervise each for the time over the defective rail. Any person that designated 213 some of the may visually inspect the person may authorize the operation with continue with the continuous supervision of 10 miles an hour for the up to 24 hours and other visual inspection replacement of the rail. B. Limiting order speed with the defective rail by an authorized person designed to designated 213 7A with at least 1 year supervisor experience for the railroad track maintenance. Operating speed cannot be over 30 miles an hour maximum allowable speed under 213 now with the class track concerned with whichever is lower. See, any applying joint for the voltage only through the outermost hole for the effective within 10 days after the determined continue with the track you need for the class 3 drive track with the operating speed over the defective rail with the 30 miles an hour until the joint bars applied thereafter limited to 50 miles an hour maximum allowable speed 213 now with the class track concerned with whichever is lower the surge for the internal rail defects conducted in 213 to 237 defects is discovered in 3 through class 3 and through 5 track of the remedial action. C. The operating speed would not be limited to 50 miles an hour maximum allowable speed 213 now with the class track concerned whichever the low is prior period not exceeding 4 days. If the defective rail has not been removed from the track, permanent repair within 4 days for the discovered limiting operating speed of the defective rail with 30 miles an hour until the joint bars are applied and together with a limit of 50 miles an hour, the maximum allowable speed of 213.9. Class track concerned with whichever less of the lower joint bars have not been applied with 10 days with the speed of less than limited to 10 miles an hour use of joint bars. Alright, D. Applied joints both of the only through the outermost hole with a defective 7 day but determined to continue with the track use in case of class 3 through 5 limited operation speed over the effective rail of 30 miles an hour. Authorized person designated the 213-7A who has at least 1 year supervisory experience with the railroad track with a joint bar thereafter therefore limited to speed of 50 miles an hour maximum level spending 213.9 with the class track concerned with whichever lowers when the joint has not been applied 7 days and the speed is not limited to 10 miles an hour until the joint bars are applied. E. Applying a joint bar that is effective in bolt in accordance with 213-121D and E. Inspect with the rail for the 90 days to determine the continued track and then review if the rail means if the track is not replaced under the inspection cycle or start over which of the successful inspection. Alright, we're going to quit that and read the rest of it. Alright, he's using this section. Bolt hole crack, meaning with the crack across the web of the operating with the bolt with the hole, processing, progressing with the path either inclined upward toward the railhead. Alright, I'm going to cut the tape at 20, page 20.